Over the last few days, tensions between U.S. President Donald Trump and Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky have escalated dramatically. While their recent public falling out has been attributed to various factors, Trump calling Zelensky a dictator and Zelensky accusing Trump of living in a Russian disinformation space. One of the biggest points of contention is a proposed U.S.-Ukraine mineral deal. This deal, reportedly pushed by Trump and his administration, would grant the United States significant control over Ukraine's vast mineral reserves in exchange for what Trump describes as a way for Kiev to pay back the United States for past military aid. However, Zelensky has flatly rejected the deal, saying, "A grant is not a debt," and insisting that Ukraine will not sell the state. So what exactly does this mineral deal entail? Why is Trump so determined to secure it, and why has Ukraine refused to sign? Let's break it down. Ukraine is home to an abundance of rare earth minerals and other valuable resources, making it a potential powerhouse in the global mining industry. According to Ukraine's geological survey, the country possesses significant deposits of titanium, graphite, lithium, uranium, and rare earth metals, primarily concentrated along the Ukrainian Shield, a mineral-rich region stretching along the right bank of the Dnieper River. These resources are in high demand worldwide, particularly as industries shift towards green energy, advanced electronics, and high-tech defense systems. If fully developed, Ukraine's mineral wealth could transform its economy, reducing reliance on foreign aid and boosting its geopolitical influence. The strategic importance of these minerals cannot be overstated. Titanium is essential for aerospace, medical, and military applications, while lithium powers the growing electric vehicle industry. Graphite plays a crucial role in energy storage and electronics, and uranium remains vital for nuclear energy and defense. Rare earth elements, which are indispensable for magnets, semiconductors, and cutting-edge military technologies, are particularly valuable, as China currently dominates their global supply. However, despite this immense potential, Ukraine has struggled to tap into its natural wealth due to decades of underinvestment, regulatory challenges, and most critically, Russia's ongoing war, which has devastated infrastructure and disrupted industrial operations. Now, U.S. President Donald Trump sees an opportunity. His administration has proposed a deal that would grant American companies privileged access to Ukraine's mineral reserves, supposedly in exchange for financial and military support. While U.S. officials tout the agreement as a path to economic recovery for Ukraine, many critics, including Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, see it as an exploitative arrangement that undermines Ukraine's sovereignty. Under the proposed deal, reportedly pushed forward by U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent, American companies would receive privileged access to Ukraine's vast mineral deposits in exchange for continued U.S. support. At first glance, the agreement seemed like a strategic partnership that could help Ukraine rebuild its war-torn economy while securing American investment. However, leaked details paint a far more one-sided picture, one that Volodymyr Zelensky ultimately refused to accept. The deal's structure would have placed a significant portion of Ukraine's natural wealth and infrastructure under U.S. control, raising concerns about sovereignty and economic independence. According to a draft agreement published by The Telegraph, the U.S. would receive a whopping 50% of all revenues from Ukraine's mineral extraction, control licensing rights for new mining projects, and even govern oil, gas, ports, and other key infrastructure. The deal also stipulated that it would be governed under New York law, with Ukraine waiving sovereign immunity, making it nearly impossible for Kiev to challenge the terms. Most notably, these conditions would remain in place until the U.S. had received $500 billion in value, nearly 3 times the amount of aid the U.S. has provided to Ukraine so far. Critics have described the agreement as nothing short of economic colonization and legal perpetuity, effectively placing Ukraine's extractive economy in Washington's hands for decades to come. Zelensky refused to sign the deal for several reasons, the most obvious being that it was simply too one-sided. While Trump presented the agreement as a fair trade, offering U.S. support in exchange for Ukraine's mineral wealth. Zelensky saw it as outright exploitation. In the middle of a devastating war, Ukraine's natural resources are among its few remaining economic lifelines. Handing over 50% of revenues to the U.S., along with control over licensing and key infrastructure, would have stripped Ukraine of its ability to independently rebuild. With so much at stake, Kiev wasn't willing to sign a deal that could leave the country financially dependent on Washington for generations. Another major sticking point was the lack of security guarantees. Ukraine isn't just seeking foreign investment, it needs long-term military and financial assurances to ensure its survival. Zelensky was reportedly disappointed that the deal did not come with clear commitments for continued U.S. aid or defense support. Given that Russia still occupies large portions of Ukrainian territory, signing away strategic resources without a solid security pact would have been too dangerous. The deal would have essentially forced Ukraine to trade its mineral wealth for short-term economic relief, without any promise that the U.S. would continue standing by its side in the long run. Beyond the economic and security concerns, the political cost of accepting the deal would have been devastating for Zelensky. With the Ukrainian public already under enormous stress from the war, the idea of giving away half of the country's mineral rights to foreign corporations would have sparked massive outrage. Such a move could have weakened his leadership, fueled opposition, and even threatened his hold on power. Even Trump's own administration seems to understand the political risk, with National Security Advisor Mike Waltz acknowledging that Zelensky was under overwhelming domestic pressure that kept him from signing. With that being said, Ukraine's resources may not be all that is purported to be. Ukraine's ability to repay its staggering $500 billion is highly questionable, not least because of the uncertainty surrounding its actual mineral wealth. While Ukraine has aggressively promoted its resource potential, especially to Trump, there is little consensus on how much it truly possesses. Trump has claimed that Ukraine holds $500 billion in rare earth minerals alone, while the New York Times estimates its total mineral wealth at $11.5 trillion, and the Washington Post goes as high as $26 trillion. However, these figures seem far from reliable. While Ukraine does have significant reserves of lithium and titanium, neither metal commands particularly high prices. Lithium, for example, has lost over 80% of its value in the past 2 years. Additionally, Ukraine's standing as a major rare earth producer is debatable. While the Ukrainian Geological Survey identifies some rare earth deposits, the U.S. Geological Survey does not list Ukraine as having any reserves of the 15 key rare earth elements. In fact, a former head of Ukraine's Geological Survey recently admitted that no modern assessment of these reserves has been conducted, with existing estimates relying on outdated Soviet-era studies. This points to a broader misconception about rare earth minerals. Despite their name, they are not geologically rare. The real challenge lies in the environmentally hazardous extraction process, and their market value is often exaggerated. According to Bloomberg's Javier Blas, the entire global rare earth production industry is worth around $15 billion per year, a mere fraction of the annual revenue generated by oil or copper. To reach Trump's suggested $500 billion valuation, the U.S. would need to secure over 150 years' worth of Ukrainian rare earth output. This suggests that Ukraine's supposed multi-trillion-dollar resource wealth is likely overstated. So why has Zelensky been emphasizing Ukraine's mineral riches? Some Ukrainian officials have hinted that he strategically hyped up the country's resources to appeal to Trump, aiming to attract American investment and strengthen U.S. security commitments to Ukraine. By encouraging U.S. companies to invest in Ukraine, Zelensky may have hoped to increase American strategic interest in his country's defense. The recent discord over a proposed rare earth minerals agreement has intensified the already strained relations between the United States and Ukraine. President Donald Trump's administration has been accused of adopting narratives that align with Russian propaganda, including claims that Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky initiated the conflict and operates as a dictator. This U.S. policy shift became more pronounced during recent G7 discussions. American diplomats resisted including the term Russian aggression in a joint statement commemorating the third anniversary of Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine. This stance has caused friction with other G7 members, who are concerned that such a move could be perceived as conceding to Russia. These tensions are further exacerbated by the U.S. administration's apparent alignment with some of Putin's demands in ongoing peace negotiations, leading to unease among European allies. While President Trump asserts that Putin is earnest about ending the war and engaging in peace talks, U.S. and allied intelligence agencies remain skeptical. Sources indicate that Putin's primary objective is to either annex Ukraine into Russia or reduce it to a weakened state under Moscow's influence. Analysts warn that any ceasefire could merely serve as a strategic pause for Russia to regroup and pursue its expansionist goals further. Ultimately, Trump's deal reflects a transactional approach that prioritizes U.S. financial gain. While Ukraine has sought to highlight its mineral potential to attract investment and ensure continued U.S. support, the reality is that rare earths are neither as rare nor as valuable. What do you think of Trump's offer and Zelensky's response to it? Your perspective matters. What do you make of Trump's rare earth deal? Share your thoughts and insights in the comments section below. If you like this video, be sure to subscribe to our current affairs channel and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our informative future videos. Stay informed, stay engaged, and thank you for watching.